Welcome to Dr. Krystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. I am your host, Dr. Krystal, a doctor of East Asian medicine and a holistic transformational coach. Here we will shine light on wisdom keepers, paradigm shifters who inspire us to live thriving, joyful lives. Let's be inspired. Although I am a doctor of East Asian medicine, this podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It does not replace professional medical advice. Please consult a qualified healthcare provider for guidance on your personal health needs. Hello, welcome to Dr. Krystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. I am your host, Dr. Krystal, and I am so delighted to introduce our beloved Cat Matlock, a trigger point therapist and trauma-informed yoga therapist with over 30 years experience helping people get out of pain, take their lives back. She has taught anatomy, kinesiology, meditation, yoga, anxiety reduction, and therapeutic massage for over 25 years. She published her first book in 2023 titled Free Body, The Body, Pain, and a Path to Freedom. Cat specializes in helping people navigate pain, trauma, intense stress, and anxiety using tools of self-trigger point release, yoga therapy, and somatics. She is also known for her profound and ever-expanding knowledge of the body, pain, and trauma, and how those intersect. She runs 2 YouTube channels and works with clients and students globally online and teaches locally in Asheville, North Carolina. And I've had the pleasure of taking a few of your workshops. Lakshmi, I've done twice.
Yes.
Yes, I haven't done I did the rollout once. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
you can never have enough Lakshmi.
Never have enough Lakshmi.
Never have enough Lakshmi.
I think about you every time I play her mantras and feel devotion towards her because I learned a lot from you. So, but we are all family here. And to start, I would love to hear what sacred means to you.
Oh my gosh. Sacred is just everything, anything that connects us to our deepest and truest self, while also allowing space for awe and wonder at the unknowable, at the mystical, magical that can't be explained, so it's anything that brings us like deeply into ourselves, and also in that allows us to go, wow, and I'm so tiny at the same time. There's so much magic out there. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, as you know, this is about sharing that one of those sacred stories. So what stories on your heart to share with people today?
Yes, thank you. I was really reflecting about this a lot. I was just on vacation, which was wonderful. And it's so good to take breaks from reality and the world. And so I really had time to think about that question, because I really feel like being human is a sacred journey, and every step of the way, every part of our path is a sacred experience. And I wanted to focus on a moment that was like deeply rocked my world, but allowed me to kind of blossom in a way of really knowing my true self. And so it was one of the hardest times of my life. It was about 6 years ago when I left a really very difficult relationship, and it was a very difficult ending. And it was also the start of COVID. So there was isolation and also leaving. And I felt deep betrayal and grief. But I made a decision in that time, because I made a decision in that time that I wasn't going to allow myself to get involved in a relationship where I didn't feel at least respected. We'll say that, at least respected. And I couldn't understand why this relationship had so many of the dysfunctional qualities of many of my past relations. As hard as I tried, I couldn't have the joy and love that I was seeking and true partnership, like really working together with someone. And I realized that I could, all the teachers say you can't change anyone but yourself, right? So then I started thinking about that. Well, what part of me is vibrating at a particular way that attracts this type of man into my life? And I thought, okay, well, I'm not mean. I'm not stealing. I'm not lying. What is it that is making this situation, these types of relationships attractive to me? And I sat down to meditate and I said, I'm not going to get up until I figure this out. And I sat and cried and explored for almost 2 hours at my altars. And what I realized was that at the root, what connected me to this man and to my ex-husband and to my partnership before that was a deep insecurity.
Mm.
And that I was going to keep repeating these patterns in relationships including friendships and people I was working with, and all this kept coming up. That I was the codependent side of the equation, that I was allowing, that I was overdoing, that I was overhelping, um, and that it was coming from a deep neediness inside myself. And that was hard. It was a hard time. Um, I'm so grateful to have had many years of yoga and meditation and introspection, Buddhist practices, Buddhist meditation, to give me the ability to go into myself. And I also did a lot of what now I understand is somatic practices that I also teach, a lot of jumping up and down and shaking my body, a lot of dancing, and really to visit those parts of myself where I didn't feel safe as a child. Growing up in my world, there wasn't safety. And so I remember early on in my relationship with this last kind of really dysfunctional relationship where I said, early on, I was like, wow, you just feel like home. And well, it turns out when your home isn't safe growing up, that's actually not a good thing. It's actually not good at all. But he felt like home. And it's those deepest neural networks, those deepest programming where I was where I was small and made to feel small. And um, so being able to look at myself and bring up my youngest, tenderest parts and do a practice that's called reparenting, where you kind of pretend, be your own parent or pretend like you actually had the childhood you desired, and holding my little self in my arms and going, oh, that was hard. Yeah, that sucked. That was really hard. And to practice that regularly, transformed my life and my world to a place where I feel a deep steadiness, like a deep anchoring inside myself. It took a lot of work. And one of the things I had to tackle during that time was rumination, obsessively thinking about the ways that I had been taken advantage of, manipulated, and treated poorly. And the thing about it, and I made a very clear decision to not hate. I wasn't going to hate. I was going to let go and get myself to a place where I could wish him love. And I truly do. I wish him well. I wish him love, because that is the truly only healing, the root of all healing. And his children will be better off if he heals, and the whole world, all of us will be better off if we heal with from that in a place of love and true acceptance of ourselves. To commit to stop ruminating was a big step, because I was there's that sense of justification, like, yeah, yeah, he stole my things. He took my money. He took advantage of me. I took care of his children. His father died while I was singing to him, and then he took credit for taking care of his father. Like, all the things, right? Like, and to choose to not keep being stuck in those thoughts, to stop and go, oh, I'm doing it again. And I would chant a mantra, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, or Freem, to try to open and expand my heart center. And then 10 seconds later, I was like, thinking about it again. And then, okay, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Right? It's like it becomes a constant practice. But during that time, it was a constant practice for at least a year of shit. It didn't take that long to stop ruminating, but because it would get further and further away, the frequency of when I thought about him. And it's hard to release, I think. So many of us, especially women, and it's all up right now in the field, right? Trauma and assault, and women's boundaries being violated in all ways, right? And it's really difficult to allow that truth to be, and also to be able to return to a place of love in ourselves, and not allow the justified anger and maybe even hatred to take over our lives, and to just like embed themselves inside us, because it's from that place that we can't live our best lives. And I'm just so grateful that I made the decision early on. I wasn't going to hate. I wasn't going to allow myself to ruminate. And I was going to allow myself periods of anger, and to allow myself to be witnessed in that anger with people I did trust, where I could stomp my feet and yell and be like, ah, I did therapy for a while with an amazing trauma specializing therapist who really helped me. And to be witnessed, to witness that. And then the next step is to then let it go, like, right, to not be stuck in the hatred, in the anger, and to truly come to a place to wish well. Because in the beginning, I was like, love and light, I wish him well, Not really. I really wasn't. I
Make
was
it till you make it.
yeah, exactly. I wish him well. And then it was always my intention to be able to be, for that to be true, for there to be truth in that. And now my life is like, on the outside, looks very similar in some ways, but the true inner peace that I live with, which is making it, maybe is supporting me going through this crazy wild time in the world right now, and to be able to hold space for others as their triggers are activated, and their anxiety and fear is really activated right now, to remind people to honor their bodies, like sometimes get up and like throw some punches and throw some kicks and dance and move, and then also return to that sort of what I call the central axis of dignity, like really being in your wholeness in yourself.
Mm. Oh, I love this, Cat. So inspiring. And I can't even imagine how many women can resonate with what you're
Mhm.
saying, including myself. I mean,
Mhm.
I've had similar stories, and, it reminds me of Byron Katie's work,
Mhm.
doing the sheets to turn it around, because those resentments can just eat us up and block
Yeah.
us. it's like the forgiveness isn't for them, it's for ourselves
For ourselves. Yeah.
to be set free. And I love the accountability that you didn't stay a victim, but you went in and you really got deep and you're like, what is the root of this? What
Yeah.
is the root that I can heal? And then, so you're taking accountability, taking responsibility for your life. And from there, you're empowered to move forward. But you
Mm,
also didn't gaslight yourself. You allowed yourself to feel victimized, to feel angry, but you
yeah.
didn't get stuck there,
Right.
and that's the key. That's so
Mhm.
inspiring. And so it's interesting because you're like, let it go, release it, and then your whole book and you I didn't know you had 2 YouTubes. But the whole, like and I have friends who go to your class to roll out on the foam rollers and stuff. It's like, when you were speaking, I was thinking, "Oh, those nodules that get stuck in our body, are those the resentments that we need to roll out and let go of?" And,
Mhm.
so tell me about your book. Tell us about your book. I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does
Yes, and
does
I
this
I
sort
wanna
of
s
come from, like it was published in 2023, that's
Mhm,
post-COVID, so
mhm.
yeah.
Well, I've been wanting to write the book for a long time, and it is really about it's my way of working with people who are in pain and to just help people understand. It's called Free Body, the Body, Pain, and a Path to Freedom. And what I see is really necessary is like five points of working of 5 things that need to be attended to really get out of pain. And one of those, a big piece is trigger points. That's the releasing and rolling on balls and foam rollers and stuff, but really specifically, like the way that I do it is really highly specific and targeted. But then you have to attend the other 4 things that are the main causes of why we even get trigger points in the first place. And the number one piece of that is stress and trauma, right?
Mm,
Because there are patterns of protection. Certain entire muscle groups, certain systems in the body will contract to mobilize. When we get activated in stress and we're like, I got to get out of here, or I don't feel safe, right? Fight or flight. We're ready to punch or kick or run like hell to try to get to safety, right? And
mm,
so the muscles of the like hip flexors and muscles in the glutes and in the hamstrings and even our fists can clench. Like there's certain patterns that
mm,
engage when we are in a stress activated state.
mm,
So it's a leading reason why people get stuck in chronic pain is really chronic stress, right? So we have to attend those things, and then we also have to stretch some and we have to move enough throughout the day. We can't sit too long all day. And we have to breathe. We have to actually be breathing. And that's part of the stress and trauma piece. So there's all these different aspects of like living well in our bodies that are really explained and interwoven in the Free Body
mm.
book. And that's my whole shtick is like free body, like free yourself, free your
Mhm.
body, use tools. If it's not yoga, do Tai Chi, do Qigong, run, like do something that is
Dance,
really soothing. You dance. Yeah. One
yeah.
of my favorites.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of my favorites. Um, and now I've been studying for the past several years. I've been really focusing on somatics, and did a whole training on becoming a mind body coach, and then a somatic anxiety coach, and now I'm in an IFS, and internal family systems somatic parts work coach training, which I have also been studying along the way as well, because I just want more and more tools to help people to sit with those difficult feelings, to go through those traumatic, painful times of life without over medicating, without over, like, I don't want to see, and also to sit with. Because I heard this from Tara Brach, one of my favorite insight meditation teachers. She says, when we bury our feelings, we bury them alive. oh, I heard that. And I was like, oh, yeah, I could just see like the hand coming up out of the, out of the grave, right? Like coming to get you. And it's so true, right? We have to learn how to sit with difficult feelings. And it
Mhm.
is really different. Something that you said was earlier was like you were victimized. And many of us, I think at this point, probably all of us have been victimized, but we choose whether or not we remain a victim, right? We can choose to re-victimize ourselves over and over again or be stuck and caught in the loop, or we can choose to learn practices to tend our bodies and to pause and go, yeah, that was hard. Yeah, that makes sense that we're angry. It makes sense. Yeah, that was hard. That sucked. I hate that it happened. Whew. And then have some way to work with your body and your breath. And it can be just simple. It can literally just be shaking and taking some deep breaths throughout the day. But that piece of recognition and honoring is so important. And then to be willing to not be stuck there is also important. To go through, to heal, but not be stuck in healing all the time, right?
Right.
It can be a tricky dance.
Yeah, it can. I love that piece of the family systems, the parts
Mhm.
to because you mentioned you took time to reparent yourself, because when
Mhm.
we get in partnerships, we unconsciously sometimes it's like we're wanting them to heal and it'll never be enough if we're wanting it from someone else. But when you
Yeah.
pause and you
Mm.
become your own mother,
Mhm.
father, call
Mhm.
upon higher power, you can for me, that's when I really started seeing things shift, like when I first met Adam, we were long distance. And so the abandoned part of me would come up and I was like, no,
Totally.
you know what? I can't grasp from him to heal that. And I would just pause and it was like the long distance part helped me heal, and I got to
Mhm.
do that reparenting of like, okay, I'm not abandoning. I'm not abandoned because I'm not going to abandon myself.
Yes.
Right? And so
Mm.
that's so
Mm.
empowering. Well, I just think the world of you and love all that you're doing and all the stuff that all the work that you're doing on yourself and then sharing it with the world is just such a gift. Before
Mm.
we close, is there a practice that you would like, a sacred practice you'd like to share with people?
Yes. Yes.
In
Throughout the
your minute, you have so many.
day.
Which one are you going to pull out?
I think the quick reset to the first step is to notice when you're feeling activated, when maybe you're holding your breath, when maybe you're feeling tense or tight or the mind is spinning fast. To me, that's a signal when my thoughts are going really fast or I'm running around really fast. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm stress activated right now. So pause and then shake the body, shake, jump up and down, shake, 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 shake your legs out, shake your booty, shake it around for about a minute. Just takes about a minute. And then to kind of just softly pet the body. There are sensory receptors that are really superficial in the fascia that when they're stimulated, like gentle stroking, they generate a sense of well-being. So it's a really quick hack. It's just like, oh, just pet yourself. Like, oh, honey, you're doing a good job. It's hard right now. It's okay. Right. And then just take 3 long, slow, deep breaths, really focusing on the exhale. That lengthening of the exhale activates the parasympathetic or the relaxed state in your brain, helps you get back online. Um, so it's super quick. Jump up and down, shake, pet. It's okay. And then 3 long, slow, deep breaths focusing on the exhale is a magical reset to help bring you back to yourself and your thinking brain and your open heart.
Oh, I love that. It makes me think of animals in the wild. Uh, you
Mhm.
know, if something comes at them, well, then they just shake it off,
Right.
and
And then
then it
hop
and then
away.
hop. And if it's our animal, then we pet them.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Yes.
but
Exactly.
having that conscious thought, intention of like, okay, and then now I'm gonna take those long breaths and have a longer exhale.
Mhm.
Maybe that part separates us from the animal world, because I don't
Mm,
think they're thinking consciously, I'm gonna shake to get rid of this trauma and pet myself. But
right.
that's what they do in the wild. They'll just shake,
Mhm.
or our dogs, our pets will just shake if
Yeah.
something, then they're fine.
Right. Yeah, that
So,
trembling is powerful. Yes.
yeah, it's like a release.
Mhm.
So thank you. And how can people find you?
Yes. You can find me by you can find me on YouTube at Cat Matlock. And you can find my website is freebodynow.com. And then through there, you can find all the other things. You can find the book, which is Free Body, The Body Pain, and a Path to Freedom. And you can find that wherever fine books are sold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
And thank you to all our listeners. Until next time, remember to find the sacred, inspiring aspects of all of life. You're not alone. We're in this together. Thank you for joining me on Dr. Krystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. If today's episode lifted you up, I'd love if you shared it with a friend, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps more people discover these stories of light and transformation. And if you'd like to work with me more closely, head over to www.drkrystalkinnunen.com. And as a thank you for listening to the show, you'll receive $20 off your first session. Details are also in the show notes. Remember, in this time of rapid change and transformation, you are not alone. You are part of a greater shift, and your inspired life matters. Until next time, let's be inspired.